When a patient has weak arteries, a stent is often used to enhance blood flow from the heart. Now, this small mesh tube is inserted into the narrowed artery during a procedure known as coronary angioplasty. Now, in some cases, cardiologists may opt for a drug-eluting stent, which gradually releases medication to prevent re-narrowing or weakening of the artery. Post-stent replacement, patients are typically prescribed a standard medicinal regimen. This often includes medication for blood sugar and blood pressure management, antacids, statins, and antiplatelet drugs such as Plavix or Brilinta for a year or much longer, along with the low-dose aspirin. Many patients wonder if it's possible to eventually discontinue these medications. The answer is a resounding yes. However, it's crucial to understand that without addressing underlying nutritional deficiencies, patients may find themselves dependent on these medications indefinitely. In this video, I'll cover the differences of stents, what happens once you get yours done, what supplement regimen to follow, food intake, exercise, and sleep. So if this interests you, continue watching and please support my channel by subscribing and sharing. Stents come in various types, each with its own pros and cons. Bare metal stents, short for BMS, are the simplest and cheapest, suitable for those who can't really tolerate or take long-term blood thinners, but they have a higher risk of re-narrowing and may require replacement over time. Drug-eluting stents, short for DES, release medicine to prevent re-narrowing, which is beneficial, but require longer blood thinner use. Now, these are 3 generations, each improving on the last, with newer ones needing less medication time and showing better long-term outcomes. Bioresorbable vascular scaffolds, short for BVS, dissolve over time, which sounds ideal, but they're expensive. They do have some safety concerns, especially if plaque isn't repaired or reversed, and may need follow-up procedures after dissolution. Now, covered stents are used for specific problems like artery wall tears. Self-expanding stents, suitable for larger or oddly shaped vessels, while balloon expandable stents offer precise placement in regular coronary arteries. Now, stent costs range from $1,000 to $35,000 with procedure times of 15 to 60 minutes. So the choice depends on your specific heart conditions, ability to take blood thinners, and overall health. Some stents may get old and require replacement, varying by type. First generation DES and other types may need attention if complications or new blockages occur. The need for replacement or additional procedures depends on individual factors, including health, lifestyle, and adherence to prescribed care. So you got yourself a stent. Now what? Recovery, you'll need about a week to feel better. Medications, you might need to take some pills for a year or even longer. Lifestyle changes, we'll work on these together to keep you healthy. Checkups, you'll see your doctor every 6 months to make sure the stent is doing its job. And from my personal experience, you will fall into deep depression, anxiety, or stress. You might wonder, what the hell did I do wrong? But don't worry, it's not your fault, it's the system. Now, to help you feel better and think clearer, I recommend 2 special amino acids. 1, L-theanine. This helps you feel calm without making you sleepy. It can reduce stress, help you focus, and even help you sleep better. It might also relax your arteries. Take 200 to 600 milligrams on empty stomach a few times a day and before bedtime. Number 2, L-tyrosine. This helps your brain work better when you're stressed. It can improve your mood and help with focus. It's also good for your thyroid. Take 500 to 5,000 milligrams per day on an empty stomach often at the same time as L-theanine. Now, these supplements can help your mind and body heal. Therefore, we start focusing on strengthening the heart with a handful of supplements. Now, keep in mind, none of these supplements will conflict with your existing medication intake. Your heart is obviously deficient in few things: magnesium, taurine, vitamin D3, L-carnitine, D-ribose, creatine, coenzyme Q10, and nitrate. Now let me explain why you need them and how much to take daily and the effect. So magnesium is actually crucial for your heart's rhythm and blood pressure. It's the reason what got you the stent. Take 200 milligrams every 4 hours to keep a steady supply. Taurine works with magnesium to help your heart muscle and reduce inflammation. Once taurine is deficient, a heart attack or blockage occurs. Take 3000 milligrams with your magnesium with every dose. Vitamin D3 helps control blood pressure and inflammation. Take 1000 IU for every 25 pounds of body weight. If you're deficient, increase to 3000 IU per 25 pounds of body weight. Now, here is a heart energy booster and for ejection fraction. L-carnitine 3000 milligrams, D-ribose 5000 milligrams, creatine 5000 milligrams, and coenzyme Q10 300 milligrams of ubiquinol form. Helps your heart work better, stronger, especially if you're on cholesterol medicine. This is what powers your backbone of your mitochondria to support a powerful heart. And number 5, nitrate helps open up your arteries and improve blood flow, increases EPCs, prevent further damage, and improve vasodilation, not just for the heart, but to allow more nutrients across all the organs. Take 2 capsules, 500 milligrams of nitrate every single morning. So there you have it, the proper list to help recover, strengthen your heart, and start enjoying your life correctly. And in time, we can wean off some of the medication. But keep in mind, these will not fix the issue of calcification or soft plaque. If you are interested in that, watch my other videos about Cavadix and polyphenols listed within my video description. So we got our mind working, we strengthened our heart. Now our biggest is a lifestyle. We are talking food intake, exercise, and of course sleep. Food is very simple. Try to stick to a single ingredient as much as possible. Focus on omega-3 rich foods such as fatty fish like black cod, or in some countries it's known as sable fish, mackerel or sardines, not canned, fresh or frozen, at least 2 to 3 times a week. Focus on berries with last meal of the day such as blueberries, strawberries, and pomegranate, and include 2 cups of arugula daily if possible. Keep any additional simple carbs to last meal of the day such as sweet potato, pumpkin, or even white rice. And when it comes to meats, stick to grass-fed, grass-finished meats with pasture-raised poultry, maybe lamb or pork if you have access, free-range eggs, and toss away any type of plant-based proteins like beans or lentil, as they are not a complete protein. Do use animal fats for cooking, or coconut oil, or even MCT oil such as C8 and C10, and top it off with organic cold-pressed olive oil as dressing if you like. And don't forget to enjoy some sprouted organic walnut and macadamia. And as I mentioned earlier, shift all your simple carbohydrates, fruits, to last meal of the day only. Moving forward to exercise. Days 1 to 10, start easy with 2 10-minute walks daily. Slowly work up to 15 to 20 minutes each time. Days 11 to 16, add some gentle strength training. Try wall push-ups and chair squats. Do 2 sets of 10 to 40 repetitions every other day. Day 17 to 20, include a 10 minutes of gentle stretching or yoga daily. Practice standing on one foot while holding a chair for balance. Good balance is important for heart health. Day 20 onwards, add 15 minutes of HIIT sessions twice a week. Start more advanced weight exercises twice a week to build overall strength. Remember, listen to your body. If it hurts, stop. We're aiming for steady progress, not Olympic training. The goal is to move more and feel better each day. Quality sleep is crucial for your recovery. We're aiming for 2 hours of REM and 2 hours of deep sleep each night. Here's how to get the best sleep. 2 hours before bedtime, start winding down. No smartphones, TVs, or bright lights. Avoid anything that might stimulate your brain. 30 minutes before sleep, make your room as dark as possible. Turn off Wi-Fi and unplug electrical devices if you can. Consider using a grounding sheet to help reduce inflammation. And right before bed, take the following supplements: 200 milligrams of L-theanine, 200 milligrams of magnesium glycinate, 500 milligrams of GABA, and 1 teaspoon of tart cherry juice. This routine can help you achieve deeper, more relaxed sleep, which is essential for your heart's recovery. So now that you understand the journey after getting a stent, it's time to take control of your heart health. Start by incorporating L-theanine and L-tyrosine to support your mental well-being. Then focus on replenishing your heart's essential nutrients with magnesium, taurine, vitamin D3, and heart energy boosters with nitrate. Gradually introduce a balanced exercise routine, starting with short walks and progressing to strength training and HIIT. Remember, your diet plays a crucial role. Stick to a single ingredient foods. Emphasize omega-3 rich fish, berries, and quality proteins. Finally, prioritize restorative sleep by creating a calming bedtime routine and using supportive supplements. By following these steps, you're not just recovering from a stent procedure, you're building a stronger, healthier heart for the long term. Remember, this is a journey, not a freaking race. Be patient with yourself, listen to your body, and celebrate each small victory along the way. Your heart will thank you for it.